welcome to another Erin Rambles video. I'm trying out a new angle today. It's a bit further back. You can see my desk fully. It took a lot of moving stuff around to get it going, so I hope it works out. I quite like it. I hope you guys do too. So, due to work commitments for college and stuff, me and Neve only got to film City of Farting Assholes recently, and I haven't had a chance to edit it or anything. So it won't be out this week, it'll be out next week. Do not fear though, I have got a video idea. Get this. Last week Buzzfeed released an article, and I was just scrolling through my Facebook, and as overjoyed as I always am when I see the face of Cassandra Clare showing up on my Facebook feed, I always think, what has she done now? But no, this is a Buzzfeed article, and the Buzzfeed article is, what burning questions do you have for Cassandra Clare? It poses an interesting question for sure. Something's definitely burning alright, but I don't know if it's desperation to ask Cassie Clare a question. But I thought it would be an interesting project because we all know what Buzzfeed is like. Whether you like Buzzfeed or you don't like Buzzfeed, you have to admit there are some problematic elements to the entire website. And when any website releases an article that says, what are your questions for such and such or such a McCall, none of the really controversial, hard-hitting questions are really going to reach whoever is being asked. You'll get asked all the vanilla questions. Someone will be going through all these questions, censoring all the negative ones. Not that I condone Buzzfeed asking questions that could insult anyone. I don't like Cassandra Clare, but I'm not a moron. I don't expect Buzzfeed to send Cassandra a question that calls her casserole clam or cashmere kazoo. Can we appreciate how hilarious it would be if one of those slipped in, though? I don't expect those questions to be asked, but it would be interesting if one of the actual controversial questions got through. Something that's not positive, something that's not sucking her ego, blowing into it, making it bigger. Something that is actually critical. Because we all know Cassandra does not like criticism. If you tell her you prefer the show on Twitter, she will block you. You don't stand a chance. You criticize her a little bit, she will block you so fast. Well, probably within a minute. I think she has someone who does her blocking for her, because literally you say something bad, you're blocked within the minute. So she never reached, none of the really critical questions reach her. And I think that's bad, because there's nothing wrong with criticism. She's running from criticism as if it's everyone telling her that she's shit. I mean, a lot of people think she's shit. I'm not her #1 fan, and you know neither is Neve. But running from criticism isn't going to make it disappear. She went on a rant on Tumblr, brought up her gender for some reason, as if her gender was going to justify the fact that she was getting criticism. As if, I'm a female author, I'm getting all this criticism because I'm a woman. And it's like, my brain farted when I literally, definition of a brain fart, when I heard that. I could not believe it. I mean, Suzanne Collins who? J.K. Rowling? Who's that? I don't know. Female authors? They don't exist. Popular books written by women that aren't criticised that often? It's an anomaly. I can't say that word, sorry. Cassie must be right. All this criticism is because she's a woman in the working world. Don't get me wrong, I know some women do struggle in the working world, but I really don't think being an author these days is really that hard for women. We have plenty of female authors who write brilliant books. So that doesn't work. So what I decided to do was I took to this Buzzfeed article and I looked for some of those critical questions, and I decided to compile them into a video. So she's never going to see it, but on the off chance that someone did, and someone could answer these critical questions, because debating isn't that bad a thing. I've debated with many people on my channel who disagree with me. It's not that bad a thing. Ask a decent question, get an answer back. So I gathered up some of these questions, and I wanted to see if anyone one could answer them, for one thing. Cassie probably can't, but she won't even see this, most likely. And if she did see it, I feel like I would be the next victim of that block button, which is a goal in life, really. It's my goal in life to get blocked by Cassandra Clare. I would feel like it was a mission accomplished if I was blocked by Cassandra. You hear that, Cassie? Please, go on, do it for me. So, let's take a look at this article. What burning questions do you have for Cassandra Clare? Now's your time to ask author of the Mortal Instruments series anything. Really, Farrah Penn, Buzzfeed staff writer, anything? Are we really going to be asking her anything, or are you going to be sticking to the positives here? Because I really think that it is that former. This is the one and only Cassandra Clare. There's something they got right. There's no other woman fucking like her. This is the one and only Cassandra Clare, author of many YA series, including The Mortal Instruments, The Infernal Devices, and The Dark Artifices. Arguably, Mortal Instruments 1, 2, and 3. But apparently some people see differences in these series. I don't get it. To me, they're Mortal Instruments 1, 2, and 3, with Clary 1, Clary 2, and Clary 3, and GS1, GS2, and GS3. She may also sound familiar if you're a fan of the show Shadowhunters, oh boy, because she wrote the series? Excuse me? Farrah Penn, you are a bad journalist, a bad journalist. Wrote the series? Excuse me? Don't dare insult the show like that. Cassandra Clare had nothing to do with the show, and I thank every day for that. The show is based off her books. There's a whole plethora of writers who take care of it and make it better and have adapted it into something better than her shitty novels. She did not write it. That is an insult. This is already getting off to a very bad start. If you've ever hoped for the opportunity to ask her a question, you're in luck. Oh boy! We want to hear everything that's on your mind, whether it has something to do with the show or the books. I highly doubt what her book stands are going to say about the show would be very good. So, let us dive into these questions. And I'm not going to stifle through all the dick-sucking questions. I don't have the brain capacity for it. I literally happened upon a comment that was like, thank you for GS, thank you for GS, thank you for GS, thank you for GS, and I was like, that's not a question. They literally just said thank you for GS over and over again. These are the people that we're dealing with here. When told to ask a question, instead they praise her. No wonder Cassandra surrounds herself by these people. They're so easy to please. I mean, out of everyone, GS, come on. GS, oh, why? I don't understand. Let's not get into it. So first of all, before we get into the BuzzFeed and Facebook questions, the Facebook ones are my favorite because they drag her so much. It is beautiful. I'm going to talk about my friends on Discord. My friends in Discord are why this video exists, because I suggested making a video about this and they encouraged it so much. They were so excited by it. So I'm going to show some of the comments that I got, so that you can show how enthusiastic. There are people who want this. I'm not just one salty YouTuber who just thought, ooh, article about Cassandra Clare, let's do all the negative things. There are people out here who want to see this woman dragged by the hair to hell and back, because she never gets criticism. Well, she does get criticism. She just runs from it, as we know. So, my friend Gay, his name is Gay, and then a rainbow, honestly, please drag her to hell and back, I beg you. Use this comment from me. CC can suck my gay ass. I know I said I wasn't going to do insults, but I promised that I would use every comment that I got, and it is pretty funny, so here I am, Gay. I am dragging her. I hope you stick around to enjoy it. Then, Abby asked me to add about the blatant mistreatment of the Sapphic ship and drag her for it. That's Sapphic, Cassandra. That is Sapphic, Cassandra. Definition, adjective. Relating to lesbians or lesbianism, Sapphic lovers, or relating to Sappho or her poetry. Basically, people use Sapphic as a term to talk about positively representing women in books. More specifically, gay women, bi women, women of the LGBT spectrum, but some people use it as a term for any women, just anything at all. So basically, Cassandra, your sapphic mistreatment is friggin' off the walls for the start. From the very start of your books, Clary and Isabel are right in there with the jealousy and the hatred of one another. Whereas in the show, you know, they support each other. But again, according to Stans, this show is trash, you know. It originates from the Greek poet Sappho, a bisexual woman from the Isle of Lesbos, from which we get the term lesbianism. You know, Claire, I would really like to see your answer to this. Like, what is your excuse for the way women treat each other in your books? How your lesbian characters are just pushed off at the end without giving a happy ending? How you can't seem to write a single character, and you can't write an independent woman. They're all in love with someone or chasing after someone, even when Jordan is killed, Maya immediately falls for Bat. You don't have the capacity to write a woman on her own, and that's just one of the many problems with your representation of women. There is then the problem with the fact that there are barely any gay women in your books. You don't write barely any gays, to be honest, but you exploded Malik eventually, but you have Helen and Aline, who you just shove in there and then never write, and then break them up. Not even break them up, just separate them at the end for no good reason, as if you couldn't be bothered writing it. You know, because fuck sapphics, they don't need positive representation, right, Cassie? You just want to get that money by dragging out more books and writing your heterosexual relationships. I mean, I know that sounds like really salty, but most of the relationships that she writes are straight, and I get that straight relationships are the dominant representation in this society, but you know, she does write gay characters, she does put them in there, but then she doesn't do anything with them. Like, they're little just puppets sort of standing by, like paintings on the wall, just watching everything. They don't get any plots or anything, they're just there to say that they're there so that she can say, oh yeah, I have that gay character there in the background. You know what I mean? That is not positive representation, that's just dumping them in there. So yeah, Claire, the sapphics hate you. I hate you for I as a sapphic, I hate you. I don't understand. I just don't get it. So why? Just why? And then my friend Queen Julianne sent me a message saying, I thought of a way of talking about TMI. TMI in comparison to Shadowhunters is like looking back at your child's toddler years. Like, yeah, you still love them and imagined ways they could grow up to be like fan fiction, but they were still at the stage stripping naked, and except for their rubber boots every time they entered the house. They still cried when their bowl was empty and were still learning the language. You loved them back then, but you never want to have to deal with that again. I actually agree with this very much. I read The Mortal Instruments in my most naive of stages. I read The Mortal Instruments and thought it was fantastic. I thought it was brilliant. I thought no book apart from The Hunger Games was better than these books. I thought that the writing was beautiful. I thought the characters were amazing. I thought because she had Magnus and Alec there, she was representing the gay community when she really wasn't. And it is like looking back in your toddler years. You look back and you think, why did I do that? Why did I think that? Why was I so dumb and naive? And I think that's a really good way to describe it. So many people are young and reading these books and thinking that they're amazing, because when you're young, you don't think about it. You just read a book, you don't think about the way things are being said, the way things are being represented. You just read it, and then you look back on it when you're older and you think, wow, that's problematic. So I used to praise the ass off Cassandra. Yes, I used to be one of those people, but I've wised up. I've grown up. I'm not naked apart from my rubber boots anymore. I have some sense. I can look at things with a critical eye now. And I think that's the experience of a lot of people these days. So I think that was a very good description that Queen Julianne actually, the way she put it really worked and really made sense to me. So, right, to the Buzzfeed questions. Right, this one's from Facebook. Facebook tore into Cassie something wild. I was going through them going, oh my lord. I thought it was freaking hilarious. I was thinking that I was going to have to scroll through so many book stands, but it was actually surprisingly easy to come across people who weren't afraid to criticize her. So I I couldn't contact all these people and ask for their explicit permission to have their comment included in this video, but I figured if they're posting it on a public platform anyway, and I'm going to include their names in this video, so I hope they won't mind. But if they come across this and they don't mind, then I'll obviously take it out. I'll re-edit it and take their comment out if they don't like it. I'm not going to keep something there if I know they don't want it. So with that disclaimer out of the way, Becky Novak. Am I allowed to lift entire chapters from your books and place them into my own writings as you did with Pamela Dean? Also, considering you're still lifting passages from stories from many contemporary authors, what is your advice for getting published with stolen content? And before anyone attacks me, just Google Cassandra Clare plagiarism and spend a few hours reading. I have no idea why Buzzfeed is giving this woman a platform. Well, Becky, it's because it's Buzzfeed. They would do anything like that. And I would recommend looking up Cassandra Clare plagiarism. There is actually a plethora of things that she's actually copied. Even in her fanfiction years, she was plagiarizing things. So it's definitely worth looking into and researching. And as Becky said, take a few hours. Don't just look at a couple of articles and think, oh, well, I got my opinion. Really look into it, like deeply. Like, you'd be surprised with how deep this goes. Hannah L. Oh god, I'm going to butcher your name, I'm so sorry. Giersdorf? Hannah L. Giersdorf. How egotistical do you have to be to write a book full of pointless girl hate and biphobia, and then take credit when the show you constantly bash on Twitter gets praised for fixing those problems? I call that the salt mine. Cassie is so salty about how popular the show is. She bashed it on Twitter. She bashed it on Twitter at first when the first few episodes weren't doing as well as they expected in season 1. She did this when the movie failed. She immediately dumped all of her relation to it and started bashing it as well. And then when these first few episodes of season 1 came out and they were failing a little bit, she was like, oh no, it's so bad, I have nothing to do with that. Isabel's dressing like a slut. She's dressing like one of Sebastian's girls. Da-da-da-da-da. And then it slowly began to build in popularity, and she was like, oh dear. She's like, hey, you know I wrote those books that's based on. I'll go on to the Shadowhunters cons. I'm involved. So she bashed it because she thought it was going to fail, and then it got popular, and then she had to backtrack. It was actually quite hilarious to watch. It was quite the funny thing. I was just like, I sat and watched it like, you salty bitch. And then she still fights with the writer sometimes, but in a very passive aggressive manner. It is very funny. I would recommend following her if you aren't going to tweet and aggravate her block button. It is funny to watch how salty she can get about the show. It is actually worth it, I would say, to watch her get so salty about everything. Cameron Rutherford. How do you convince so many people you're a nice person? When will you release Holly Black, a very talented woman, from whatever spell you've put her under? When will you stop writing? Who knows, Cameron? Who knows? We all wish for the day she'll at least stop writing for the Shadowhunters, but it doesn't seem to be anywhere in the near future. She has another series planned after the Dark Artifices. She has a book series planned for Magnus. She has many snippets that she's been writing for Malik for charity, because let's exploit the gays. Yay. So sadly it doesn't look like she's going to stop writing anytime soon. And then she has a very mediocre, I hear, book series. It's not based on Shadowhunters. It hasn't done extremely well. Its popularity more comes from her name on it than anything else. Elliot Bearsier, I'm sorry, I'm really bad at names. Did you really think dropping the I from Claire would stop us from finding the receipts for your long history of plagiarism? That's actually a good point. If you're going to search up her plagiarism, add I into her surname, because she used to be under that name, and then she changed it so that people wouldn't find as much about her plagiarism. It actually does help. I have found quite a few things, but she has had a lot of it removed, so there is a lot of deep searching that you have to do to find a lot of the stuff about her plagiarism. But there's a PDF, I've included it in my description before, I'll do it again. There is a PDF comparing her books from the Dark Hunter series by Cheryl Keenan. So yeah, when you read that, I read it and I was like, what the fuck? Like, how did she get away with this? Well, we know how she got away with it. Money, power, and status. Sadly for Cheryl Keenan, lost the court case because of Claire's status, which is just fucking ridiculous. Chaotic. Didn't you feel terrible having built a career based on plagiarizing published works, often copying entire pages and inserting them into your own work, and leading harassment campaigns against those who protested. Do you think that this is an acceptable way to behave? Would you allow anyone else to build their career off plagiarizing your own work? If not, why, considering the approach for the one you took? Like, you pretty much hit on the nail of the head here. Like, she built her career on plagiarism. She's been through many court cases for plagiarism, and now she has led harassment campaigns. I hear she tried to get a girl expelled from her university for criticizing her and her books. She is literally the definition of triggered. Like, completely and utterly the definition of triggered. Like, I'm waiting for the day she starts trying to come after me, because that'll be a very interesting day indeed. Brianna Morgan said, the possibility of incest made me drop this book like a hot potato. Am I the only one? I wish I could say I was as smart as you, but as I said, I was a naive little girl. I didn't see a problem with incest. I thought since an adult wrote it, it could be okay. Apparently, we can't trust the adults anymore and what they write. How do you feel about being an anti-bullying advocate when you were a horrid bully when you first started? Yeah, that is definitely a question to be answered, but then you propose a question like that, I'd be like, I'm not a bully. Everyone's against me. All the anti-CC people are just trying to get me because I'm a woman. I'm not a bully. You're a bully. Her entire argument to that would be, I know you are, but what am I? A horrid bully. Boom, she said, replied, didn't this bitch plagiarize everything her chubby fingers ever touched from fanfiction? I don't condone fat shaming, because I literally just said about bullying and stuff like that, and I do think when you conform to insults, your argument does lose a lot of its solidity. Like, as soon as you start insulting someone, you've lost. Like, that's it. Like, it shows that you don't have anything else to say but insult. But that got me, I'm sorry. But you don't try not to insult when you're asking these questions, because then you kind of lose the validity of your argument, and you don't want to do that. Like, you want to like have constructive critical arguments so that you can't be accused of attacking someone, and then you can look like you are being the constructive one. And if Cassandra freaks out when you haven't insulted her or anything, then she has no reason to, then she's the one who looks like she can't take criticism. But if you do insult her, then she has a reason to be upset, you know what I mean? Heather Powers wrote, how long does it take you to find and replace all those names from the work you plagiarized? What advice that doesn't involve wholesale plagiarism with a healthy dash of fitting off the serial numbers do you have for impressionable young people who may want to follow your example and write original fiction? Go on, Claire, teach an entire army of children how to plagiarize. Teach them it's okay. In fact, let's all just plagiarize TMI. Let's write our own series with giant experts lifted from TMI. It would be plagiarism of a plagiarism. It would be plagiarception. And she couldn't complain because she's plagiarized. So, someone do this. Someone do plagiarception, please. Hashtag plagiarception. My friend, the Aromantic also submitted some questions. She wrote, also, do you know how to write a person that is single or not looking for a relationship that isn't extra, I mean? Do you experience or know how to write any emotion outside of lust? Just wondering, do you have an incest fetish? Do you, Claire? I think we all know the answer if your writing is anything to tell. Gotta get that incest in. Good old incest. Valor3 Mokerless asked me on Tumblr, hey, don't know if you're still doing the video about questions for Cece, but I have so many, so here is one, since I'm now reading Dark Artifices. Why did she feel the need to, of all the boys that exist, put Emma with Mark? I mean, I know about the curse thing, but I think Mark and Julian deserve a healthy relationship after all they've been through. And why is every plot of her series 50% and more about two people that can't be together? Tired of that shit. Sorry for the grammar. The grammar was fine. There's nothing wrong with grammar. So, I think we've well established by now that these books are not for anything besides romance, because you know how much the romance genre is lacking these days. Like, there's barely any romance books. But no, I don't think Claire has the capacity to write any emotion outside of, it's not even romance. her romantic writing is mediocre at best. Most of it is lust. Most of it is characters getting hot and heavy together, spouting a couple of romantic lines, and then being hot and heavy again. And it's bad writing. Like, most of her conflict is directly related to relationships, and if it's not, relationships play a part in the conflict. And again, there isn't a single character that is independent. They're all in relationships, so it's just, oh, I've gone over it in my podcast. She can't write. Unless she has a decent answer. I would actually like to see her answer. If she gave me a decent answer for this, then I would, a decent answer that isn't, I can write what I want, then I would respect it 100%. If any of these questions did show up in the Buzzfeed article or video or whatever they're going to make of this, I would actually respect Buzzfeed so much, and I would respect Cassandra if she actually answered decently, but I really don't think it will. I feel like it'll be very censored, very vanilla, very, oh, Miss Clare, we're fans of your writing, we love you so much, please answer some questions. And it's okay if it's okay to ask positive questions. I mean, she does have a book coming out. It is okay to ask questions like that. I mean, like, who am I to say what you can or can't ask a person? But sometimes it's good to debate. It's sometimes good to propose these critical questions. If you don't take a look at your own work critically, then how are you ever going to look at other work critically? Nothing is perfect. Nothing is 100% black and white. No matter how much you love something, you have to recognize that there are flaws. I know there are flaws in Shadowhunters. I know there are flaws in The Hunger Games. I know there's Suicide Squad is one of my favourite movies, for goodness sake. And I know it's flawed. I know people don't like it. And that's okay. You can acknowledge problems. You can say you like something. I actually really respect people who comment on my videos and say, hey, I like the mortal instruments, but I know it's flawed. That's fine. It's okay. You can recognize that something is flawed, can have its problems. You can look at something with a critical eye and still enjoy it, but you have to understand that it isn't 100% perfect. I mean, I'm sure Claire knows that her writing is 100% perfect. And even if she addressed some of the issues that some people have, maybe people would have a lot more respect for her. Instead of freaking out and having rants on Tumblr where she's saying, I can write what I want, or I'm a woman in the workplace, then people would probably respect her a lot more. If she explained why she did these problematic things in a decent manner that everyone understood, then maybe we would respect her a bit more. Maybe we would understand. Like, helping us understand would make these issues a lot better. I mean, I know a lot of people really don't like her and really don't like her writing. I'm one of them, but I would really respect her if she did answer some of these questions in a decent manner, without flipping out, without turning it on us, without denying that there's a problem when there clearly is. Oh, so that's it for this week, Shadowhunters, Angels, and Darkmothers alike. I will try to get City of Farting Assholes out next week. I will try my hardest to get it edited. Sorry about it not being up this week. I hope this video was okay in replacement. You know, assignments and stuff, everything's a bit of a jumble, final weeks in school and shit like that. So I will have it up next week. Let me know what you think of this angle. I quite like that you can see my whole desk. I feel like a professional now. Tell me what you think of this angle. Tell me if you like it. Tell me your thoughts. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Is there anything that you would ask Cassandra if you were given the opportunity? What's your burning question for Cassandra? And if you do have a question, go to the Buzzfeed article. I'll leave a link in the description. Go to the Buzzfeed article, leave a comment, see if it might get asked. It probably won't if it's controversial, but it's worth a shot anyway. You might as well leave it there. That's it for this week, Shadowhunters, Angels, and Darkmothers alike. And remember, it's okay to be critical. Like it's okay to criticize things and say that things are flawed. I think it helps us grow as people and see different opinions and points of view, so it's a good thing. Acknowledge the flaws. Acknowledge the bad things instead of running away from them. Don't be like Cassandra Clare. Acknowledge them and improve yourself on them. It's the only way we can develop as human beings.